Welcome to the Learning in Lexicaster video. Lexicaster is a game which aims to teach a foreign language. It is a 2D role-playing game, or RPG, which is an implementation of the Dynamic Learning Adjustment, or DLA thesis. This video will focus on the practical usage of Lexicaster to learn a language, rather than the gameplay, storyline, or extensive research upon which the game is based. The game is played within a simple web browser. This means you can access your character from nearly any location with an internet connection. In the center of the screen is the character, a wizardly-looking fellow with the red hat. You can see that the artistic style of the game is intended to be playful and majestic, perhaps even serene. I have muted all sounds and music from the game for this demonstration, but the musical style is in line with this artistic aim. When I walk in front of this nescient bauble, one of the enemies within the game, he sees me and starts chasing me. So I'm going to go ahead and defend myself by casting a spell on him. Moving my cursor down to the quick bar at the bottom of the screen, I have easy access to my repertoire of spells and items. Double-clicking on the first slot, I will begin to cast a spell on this enemy. You can see the game pauses and fades out gracefully as we are presented with a list of Chinese and English words. My objective is simply to translate each of the Chinese words correctly into English. Altogether, the Chinese words comprise a grammatically correct sentence in Chinese. If I had the sounds turned on, you would hear the word being pronounced when I moved my mouse over the Chinese word, and another sound when I attached the word to an English word, which indicated my success or failure. I've succeeded at translating the first word, but if I translate improperly, the line will turn black and I will hear the failure sound. Now, as I finish translating all the words, the game briefly presents me with a list of words that I failed to translate properly. Had I succeeded entirely at the translation, this list would not appear. I can simply mouse over the words to see what their proper pronunciation and definition are. And again, I would hear the word pronounced if the sound were on. Clicking to continue, the spell is actually cast on the enemy. A lot of things just happened. You'll notice there were bubbles floating above me and the enemy. They serve two purposes: to indicate who was affected by the spell, and to indicate the number of words I've translated correctly. You'll notice the colors of the bubbles match the colors seen while I was actually casting the spell. My character is speaking the English version of the sentence, while the Chinese version of the sentence appears below my feet. Once again, if I had the sound on, you would hear the entire sentence pronounced. And also, if I moved my mouse over a Chinese word, you'd hear the individual word pronunciation. Finally, the effectiveness of the spell is modified by the number of words I've answered correctly. If I translate 2 out of the 3 words correctly, the damage done by the spell will only be 2/3. So I'll go ahead and cast another spell, entirely successful this time, in order to kill this little bad guy. When I am translating a specific word, if I speak the Chinese pronunciation of the word into the microphone, Lexicaster will give me a bonus to my spell effectiveness in order to encourage me to learn to pronounce the words. Okay, so as he faded away, I received a reward for killing him, a potion that floated above my head. Now, casting spells is not the only way that learning a foreign language is integrated into the gameplay of Lexicaster. When doing tasks within the game, such as opening treasure chests or helping some of the characters in the game, the player may be asked to utilize his or her language skills in a different manner. Walking over here, we can see a treasure chest which is magically locked. When I double-click it to try opening it, a new window comes up. In this case, I need to unscramble the sentence. Once I'm done, we see the same affirmation structure, with the native and foreign words. So, now we've looked at two of the many ways by which Lexicaster integrates language learning smoothly into gameplay. One of the questions this presents is how Lexicaster chooses the words to present to the player. Using the DLA thesis, the game keeps track of specific details on every single word translated, including the success rate, the last time the word was used, and so on. As the game starts, a player has only a few words within his vocabulary. When a certain threshold of success rate for each word within the vocabulary is passed, the game introduces a new word. New words, in turn, open up new sentences which may be presented when spells are cast, and so on. But this may raise the question, how does the game decide what new words to introduce? By default, the DLA system is able to discern what words are most useful, based upon the total number of occurrences in sentences, and present the most useful words first. But if I am a business student, perhaps the word for economy is more useful than the word for water, even though water occurs in more sentences overall. To account for this, I can choose the words which I wish to be added to my vocabulary with higher priority. To do this, I can double-click my character to open up my profile. Clicking on the third tab, the dictionary, I can search for a word in the Lexicaster database. When the results are presented, I can click on a word and then press the Q button to add it to the list of words I wish to learn. The next time Lexicaster chooses to introduce a new word, we will choose a word from this list, assuming the word is relevant. In other words, the word economy will not be learned if I know only 3 other words and no sentence could be created using the word for economy. The dictionary also allows me to export all search results into a printable format so they can be studied, and to view example usages of the word. For the second part of this video, we're going to take a look at a more conventional learning option within Lexicaster, flashcards. By clicking on the Flashcards tab in my profile, I can open up a sheet of flashcards. A nice little addition for the Chinese language in particular is the ability to write characters atop the outline presented, as you can see here. I can also flip the flashcard over, move on to the next flashcard, mark the flashcard as correct or incorrect, and so on. Notice that my score is kept track of in the lower right corner. I can also click on the link in the upper left to see information about the word, such as stroke order, and the link in the upper right to find Chinese pod lessons which have this word in it. This is useful if I wish to expand my learning by studying and using a lesson which includes this word. For my studying purposes, I may want to modify how flashcards work. To do so, I can head to the Setting tab and open up the flashcard section. First, I can see what information is on both the front and back of the card, and adjust as I see fit, customizing the flashcard to how I want to learn. Next, if I would rather study specific words, the words that are in my vocabulary, I can do so by choosing the Custom Words radio button. You can see here that I have uploaded a few different sets of words from my own studies of the Chinese language. These files are from my Chinese textbook. I can simply choose one, and when I return to the flashcard section, it will use the words specified in the file rather than the words in my Lexicaster vocabulary. More about creating such a file will be found in a subsequent video on customizing Lexicaster. Thus, Lexicaster is perfectly suited as a supplement for language learning. With its numerous customization options, Lexicaster can be tailored to accentuate any curriculum for any language. In subsequent videos, we'll take a look at other subjects, such as the storyline of Lexicaster, the research behind the DLA thesis, customizing Lexicaster, and so on. Thank you for your time spent watching this video. If you have comments or questions, please send an email to the address seen on the screen.